Hey guys, welcome back to part 7 of our 10-part digital painting masterclass series. This is the second video for our massive forest dragon project. In the last hour, we did some incredible foundational work. We established a low camera angle to make the creature look absolutely gargantuan. We broke down creature anatomy using real, world animal skeletons, and we locked down a gorgeous textured line art layer. If you missed that setup, or if you need to see how we built the wing mechanics from scratch, definitely jump back to video 6 before diving into today's session. Today, we are moving into the world of color harmony and atmosphere. We are going to establish our lighting scheme and lock in our base values. This step is incredibly vital because, unlike the cyberpunk Rogue, which relied on intense, synthetic neon light, this fantasy illustration is all about natural organic ambient light mixed with magical luminescence. We are dealing with two completely contrasting light sources, and if you don't set them up correctly right now, your colors will look incredibly muddy and chaotic by the time you start rendering. Here is our roadmap for this 7th hour. For the first 15 minutes, we are going to use the reference layer trick to separate our flat colors, blocking out the dragon, the rocky cave, and the foreground gnarled roots. Around the 25-minute mark, we will dive deep into a split-complementary color scheme, mapping out how the earthy forest tones interact with magical light. Then, for the final 20 minutes of the video, we will lay down our primary light passes using multiply and overlay layers to carve out 3-dimensional forms. Make sure your stylus is ready. Open up that line art file from last time, and let's start laying down our flat colors. Let's start by organizing our canvas. Right now, around the 3-minute mark, I'm grouping all of our line art layers into a folder named Line Art and setting the blending mode of that folder to multiply. Just like we did in our first project, we want to create a solid silhouette mask for the dragon, so we can paint freely without coloring outside the lines later. Watch my screen right here at the 6-minute mark. Since this line art has an organic charcoal texture, the magic wand tool might leave small gaps if the tolerance is too low. To fix this, I set the line art folder as our reference layer, create a new layer underneath, and use the Lasso tool to quickly trace the outer edge of the dragon. Once the silhouette is filled with the neutral, desaturated olive green, I lock the transparency. Now any brush stroke we make on this layer will be perfectly clipped to the dragon's body. Now, let's block in the rest of the environment elements around the 12-minute mark. I'm creating separate layers for the foreground roots, the mid-ground rock ledger where the dragon is perched, and the deep background cavern. For the foreground elements, I'm using a very dark, desaturated brown-gray. For the deep background, I'm picking a muted, dark slate blue. Notice how just by separating these elements into distinct value steps, dark in the front, mid-tones in the middle, and cool tones in the back, the illustration instantly gains a massive sense of physical depth before we even touch shading. We are hitting the 20-minute mark of this hour, and our canvas looks like a cleanly blocked-out puzzle. Now, let's talk about the science of color theory in a dual light environment. For this piece, our lighting narrative is built on contrast. From the top left, we have soft, warm sunlight filtering down through a forest canopy hole, casting a golden-green hue. From the bottom right, deep inside the cavern, we have highly concentrated, magical bio-luminescent crystals casting a vibrant, sharp cyan. Blue light. This gives us a gorgeous split-complementary relationship between the warm, golden olive tones of the dragon's mossy skin and the cool electric blue of the magical cavern. Watch how I tint our base colors around the 28-minute mark to reflect this environment. Since the dragon is covered in ancient bark, like scales, its local color is a desaturated earthy green. But look at the underbelly and the wing membranes. I'm shifting those local colors toward a warmer, desaturated terracotta orange. Why? Because when the cool cyan light hits that warm underbelly later on, it will create an incredible complex color vibration that makes the creature feel living and 3-dimensional. If you are painting along and your color choices feel incredibly muddy, or if you find that your warm and cool lights are blending together into a dirty gray mess, don't worry. Managing dual light sources is one of the biggest hurdles in digital illustration. I actually have a highly detailed, separate masterclass video that covers exactly how to mix organic skin tones with magical colored lighting without losing your saturation. If you want to master that specific color balance workflow, you can jump over to watch that color theory guide right now, and then meet us right back here to apply it to this piece. Moving past the 35-minute mark, our flat colors are perfectly harmonized, and it's time to introduce our very first heavy shadow pass. This is where we break the flatness and define our shapes. I'm creating a new layer above the dragon's flat colors and setting the blending mode to multiply. For our shadow color, I'm picking a rich, desaturated plum purple. Why purple instead of black or gray? Because in a natural forest environment, shadows are filled with bounced blue skylight and reflected green foliage light, which creates a beautiful, deep atmospheric purple hue. Look at my brush strokes right here at the 42-minute mark. Since our primary ambient light is coming from the top left forest opening, the entire underside of the dragon's neck, the space beneath its heavy chest plates, and the right side of its tail will fall into shadow. I am using a large, hard-edged brush to block out these massive shadow families. Do not zoom in right now. Keep your canvas small on your screen and focus entirely on the readability of the big shapes. If the shadows look convincing from far away, the details will look incredible later. We are entering the final 10 minutes of this second hour, approaching the 52-minute mark, and it's time to bring in our magical light source using our very first lighting pass. I am creating a new layer directly above our multiply shadow layer and setting the blending mode to overlay. I'm picking a highly saturated, electric cyan color. Watch my stylus right here at the 54-minute mark. I'm painting this bright light along the bottom right side of the dragon's body, underneath the jaw, along the ribs, and catching the lower edges of the coiled tail. Look at that immediate transformation on the screen. The moment that cyan overlay hits the dark purple shadow, it creates a gorgeous rich violet midtone that perfectly simulates a glowing atmosphere. The dragon suddenly feels like it is physically occupying the space right above a massive deposit of magical crystals. To push the depth even further, I'm taking a soft airbrush and lightly misting the cyan color into the background cavern walls, making the entire cave feel like it is glowing from within. And that brings us right to the 1-hour mark for part 7. Take a look at the progress we've made today. We turned our stark pencil sketch into a beautifully structured dual-lit color composition. We established our value hierarchy, blocked out our atmospheric layers, and successfully separated our warm forest light from our cool magical glow. The foundation is locked down, and now we are ready for the fun part. In the next video, part 3 of this project, we are going to dive headfirst into the heavy texturing phase. We will spend the entire hour focusing on organic material rendering, how to paint ancient, moss-covered reptilian scales, how to make the gnarled horns look like weathered tree bark, and how to paint the translucent, leather-like membrane of the dragon's wings. Make sure you save your work as a new version so your layers stay completely safe. Take a quick break to stretch out your wrists, and whenever you are ready to start rendering these fantasy textures, click right through to video number 8. I'll see you all right over there. Hey guys, welcome back to part 8 of our 10-part digital painting masterclass series. This is video 3 for our massive forest dragon project, and today we are entering the ultimate details and texturing phase. If you've been following our workflow, your canvas should currently have a beautiful clean line art foundation and a perfectly established dual lighting setup, featuring warm forest sunlight from the top left and a vibrant, magical cyan glow from the crystals down below. If your file isn't quite there yet, or if you need to see how we set up our multiply shadow layers, make sure to jump back to part 7 to get caught up. Then meet us right back here. Today is all about organic texturing and rendering complex natural materials. We are going to completely transform these flat blocks of color into tactile, high-fidelity surfaces. Over the next hour, we are focusing on 3 incredibly distinct textures: ancient, moss-covered reptilian scales, gnarled horn structures that mimic weathered tree bark, and the semi-translucent, leather-like membranes of the dragon's massive wings. Here is our roadmap for this 8th hour. For the first 20 minutes, we will focus entirely on scale rendering, detailing how to paint clusters of scales efficiently without manually drawing thousands of tiny circles around the 25-minute mark. We will move on to the head, sculpting the horn textures and painting the piercing, intelligent reptilian eye. Finally, for the last 15 minutes of the video, we will render the wing membranes, utilizing backlighting and subsurface scattering to make them feel thin, organic, and alive. We have a lot of rendering to do, so zoom into your canvas, make sure your brush pressure is feeling smooth, and let's get started on the scales. Let's zoom in right on the dragon's shoulder and neck area to begin. Right now, around the 3-minute mark, we have our base green color and our purple shadow layer defining the form. The biggest mistake I see beginners make when painting scales or textured creatures is trying to draw every single individual scale with a tiny brush. Not only does that take 50 hours, but it also creates a massive amount of visual noise that completely flattens your drawing. Instead, we want to think about suggesting texture. We only need to paint crisp, clear individual scales right along the form transitions, specifically where the light meets the shadow. Watch my brush right here at the 7-minute mark. I'm choosing a medium hard chisel brush. I'm picking the light olive green color from the illuminated side of the shoulder, and I'm carving out small overlapping diamond shapes right along the highlight edge. Notice how I'm painting these shapes to follow the exact curve of the shoulder cylinder. As I move deeper into the shadow area, I let the scales blend out into a softer, flatter tone. Your brain is incredibly smart if it sees clear, sharply defined scales along the main light barrier. It will automatically assume the rest of the body is covered in those exact same scales, even if the shadow areas are completely smooth. This keeps your painting looking incredibly clean and artistic rather than overworked. Now, look at the top of the back around the 12-minute mark. This dragon is ancient, so we want moss growing over its scales. I'm switching to a custom sponge brush with low opacity. I am picking a highly saturated, warm chartreuse green. I am lightly dabbing this texture onto the upper surfaces where the sunlight hits. Look at how that soft, fuzzy moss texture contrasts beautifully against the hard, shiny reptilian scales underneath. It instantly tells a story of an ancient creature that has been sleeping undisturbed in this forest for centuries. We are hitting the 20-minute mark of this hour, and the shoulder texture is looking phenomenally detailed. Let's move up to the head and focus on the horns and the eyes. The horns on this forest dragon aren't smooth like a ram's horn. They are jagged and weathered, almost looking like ancient tree roots. Look at my stylus movements right here at the 27-minute mark. To paint this bark-like texture, I am using a completely hard brush and throwing long, irregular, vertical strokes down the length of the horn. I'm placing deep, dark brown cracks directly next to sharp, light tan highlights. Just like when we painted metal in our cyberpunk piece, high contrast, hard edges are what create the illusion of a rough, rigid surface. Now, let's zoom in on the eye at the 3-minute mark. The eye is the focal point of the entire creature. It's what gives it soul and intelligence. I'm painting the sclera a deep, rich gold. For the pupil, instead of a generic round circle, I'm drawing a sharp, vertical slit, like a crocodile or a cat. But here is the secret step. Because the magical crystals are glowing directly underneath the dragon's head, the eye is going to catch a massive amount of cyan reflection. At the 38-minute mark, I'm taking a tiny, sharp brush with a bright cyan white, and I'm placing a razor, sharp specular highlight right on the bottom edge of the cornea, opposite to where the upper sunlight hits. Look at that spark. It instantly makes the eye look wet, glass-like, and piercingly alive. If you are following along and finding that your texture work is turning into a messy, muddy blur, or if you are struggling to make your organic shapes look structural and sharp, don't panic. Texturing takes a massive amount of edge control. I actually have a dedicated standalone masterclass video that breaks down exactly how to paint 5 organic textures from scratch: reptile scales, tree bark, feathers, fur, and wet moss. If you want to refine your brush control and master those micro textures before moving forward, you can jump over to watch that texturing guide right now, and then bring those exact brush strokes straight back to this dragon. Moving past the 45-minute mark, we are entering the final quarter of this rendering hour. The scales are textured, the head is looking incredibly detailed, and now it's time to focus on the massive wings. Wing membranes are fascinating to paint because they are incredibly thin. When a powerful light source stands behind a thin, organic membrane, the light passes directly fibric rather than just bouncing off the surface. This creates a brilliant luminous glowing effect called translucency, or subsurface scattering. Watch my screen closely right here at the 52-minute mark. Our primary light source is the top left forest opening, which sits slightly behind the dragon's left wing. I'm selecting the wing membrane layer, picking a rich, highly saturated terracotta orange-red, and using a large, soft airbrush to flood the center of the membrane with light. Look at that effect at the 56-minute mark. See how the wing instantly looks like it is glowing from within. To ground this effect and give it realism, I am switching to a small, hard brush and drawing thin, branching, dark purple lines radiating out from the wing digits. Those are the veins. By placing these crisp, dark skeletal veins right over that bright, glowing, translucent membrane, you completely sell the anatomy. The viewer can physically feel the thinness and the biological structure of the wing. And that brings us right to the 1-hour mark for part 8. Take a step back from your drawing tablet and look at the screen. The transformation over this last hour is incredible. We took a flat, smoothly shaded creature and gave it life, history, and rich texture. The moss feels fuzzy, the scales look rigid and protective, the eye is glowing with ancient intelligence, and the wings look beautifully translucent. We are officially through the heavy rendering phase for our creature. In the next video, part 4 of this project, we are going to pivot our focus entirely to the environment. We will paint the gnarled cavern roots, render the massive glowing shards of magical crystals, and build the atmospheric water vapor and subterranean waterfalls that wrap around our majestic beast. Save your layer file as a new version to keep everything safe. Give your eyes a good rest, stretch out your hands, and whenever you are ready to paint this magical cavern environment, click straight through to video number 9. I will see you right over there.